Hello students of class 11 Commerce, welcome back to your business studies class. We will continue our class. Yesterday we took types of industries, isn't it? Classifications of business activities can be divided into two, that is industry and commerce, isn't it? And then we took up types of industry. And so in types of industry, there are primary industry, secondary industry and tertiary industry, right? So today we will take up the next topic, that is commerce. Okay, so since we have been discussing about this commerce, I will not go into detail since by now you know what is commerce, isn't it? So this commerce can be again classified into two parts, that is trade and auxiliaries to trade. Okay, so when we say trade means what? Buying and selling of goods with a purpose of earning profit, isn't it? Or with the purpose of getting profit, that is trade. Okay, so this trade can be again further divided into home trade and foreign trade. Okay, so what is home trade? Home trade means doing business within the national boundary. Okay, buying and selling is taking place within the national boundary, that is called home trade. Again, this home trade can be again further classified into local level and state level and national level. Okay, that means local trader, state trader and national trader. Okay, so who are these local traders? These local traders are limited to some villages or towns or district. That means when we go to the town, we see that local people, isn't it? Local people, local traders used to come and sell vegetables, fruits and all, isn't it? So those are local traders. Okay, they usually deal in those items, those products which are perishable in nature. That means which we cannot keep it for a longer period, isn't it? Like as I was telling you, vegetables and fruits, or those things which will are perishable in nature. So those are local trader. Then come to the state. Okay, state level, state traders. When a trader start trading above the local level and trades on the state level, you got? When a trader start trading above the local level and start trading within the state level, okay, in the state level, that means what? One trader from one district may trade with the other district, isn't it? So for example, in Kohima also we see that lots of traders from we see that from Waka or from Futsuro, isn't it? They used to bring vegetables and then they used to sell. Okay, so those are termed as state traders, district, from one district to another district. Okay, so that is called state traders. Now coming to the national traders. Okay, national traders means those traders where different states of the country come together and do business. For example, in Nagaland, most of us, we used to consume rice, isn't it? From other states, okay, Bihar or Andhra Pradesh, isn't it? Or Karnataka, isn't it? So when one state trades with the other state, that means Haryana may do business with Punjab, okay, something like that. So this home trade means trading, buying and selling takes place within the national boundary, and it can be divided into local trade, state trade and national trade. Local state means confined to village or towns, isn't it? Then state trade means when one district trade with the other. Then national means when one state, okay, one state trade with the another state. So in all of these three traders, okay, or level, wholesalers and retailers are the middlemen, isn't it? Wholesalers and the retailers are middlemen. Since you have already taken up this topic in your class 11, we will not go into detail, okay, but see, the producer used to produce goods, isn't that? And that goods has to reach the ultimate customer. Okay, so this wholesaler and retailers bridge the gap between the producers and the customer. So in all the level, okay, you will see that there is a wholesale trade also, there is a retail trade. Okay, so that's why these are the middlemen where the goods, final goods are being transported till the consumption. Okay, so home trade. Now coming to the foreign trade. Now when we say foreign trade, when a business activity is conducted across the national boundary, that means one country is doing business by doing trading with the other country, okay, that is called foreign trade. Again, this foreign trade can be divided classified into or different types, okay, different types of foreign trades can be of import, export and entry port, okay. Now this foreign trade has three main parts, that is import, export and entry port trade. What is import? When a businessman buys some goods from the other country, isn't it? When a businessman buys some goods from the other country, that is termed as import. That means, you know, in India, okay, major imported items in India are, you know, one is oil, isn't that? We import oil from, okay, we buy oil from this Middle East countries, isn't it? The Saudi Arabia or, you know, this Iran, okay. And one important items that we import from other country is electronics or, you know, electronics from China, okay. So these are some of the items which we import from other country. Now coming to this export trade. Export trade means when one country sell something to the other country, that is called exporting, exporting goods, okay, to other country. So India export, you know, cotton cloths or tea, jute, okay, jewelries, okay, precious stones, all those things India export it to the other country. Now coming to the entry port trade, okay. So when one country imports goods from another country and sell the same goods to again different country. That means, let me just give you an example. If India import one good from Nepal, isn't that? And the same goods India again sell it, export it to China. That means three parties are there, isn't that? India, Nepal and China, okay. So entry port trade means when one import goods from one country, okay, and the same goods is again exported to the third country, that is called entry port trade. Now why, you know, foreign trade is important? Because see, every country cannot produce everything, isn't that? Every country is not blessed with all the resources, yes or no? So one country depends with the other country. So a country who has abundance in, you know, one particular resources may try to you know, sell it, okay, export those items to other country. One country who do not have sufficient amount of that resources may import that goods from the other country, okay. So this foreign trade can be again classified into import, export and entry port trade. Now that is all about trade. Now coming to this auxiliaries to trade. Now when we say auxiliaries to trade refers to those activities which are undertaken to overcome the hurdles or the problems appearing in the way of trade. You got it, that? So see, now here productions of goods has already taken place. Now the problem is how that goods will be able to reach the final consumption. Okay, so that is another big problem, isn't it? So that problem is being solved by this auxiliaries to trade, aids to trade. That means support trade to do business. Okay, so the first one is, what is it? Middleman, isn't it? Middleman. That means hindrances of person, isn't it? That means, as I was telling, between the producers and the consumer, isn't that? So these are the middlemen. These are the middlemen who transport or transfer the goods from one place to the another. Okay. Then comes your transportation and communication, isn't it? Transportation and communication means, you know, you transport your goods and services by road or rail or, you know, ship, isn't that? So that is again another one. Communication means through, you know, phones or, you know, the internet, fax. Okay, so those are coming under transport and communication. Then warehousing. Warehousing means what? Where the producers has to keep the goods, isn't that? So that is also again you know, hindrances of place. Okay, so consumption means, you know, the producers will produce maybe for a specific period, but consumption is all throughout the year will be consuming, isn't it? So the goods have to be in a good condition. That's why warehousing or storage is a place where you keep your goods, store your goods. Okay, insurance. Okay, so business is exposed to risks, isn't it? So they insure their you know, they insure their business, okay, or their factories or their, you know, vehicles, so that if anything happens, they can claim the insurance money. Then banking, isn't that? Money is also one important problem. So if any, you know, if the businessman wants to have, you know, wants to incur what is it, wants to invest again, okay, he can always go and take loan from the bank. Advertisement is also again another where he can promote his product to the customer. Okay, so these are some of the examples of auxiliaries to trade, that means support the trade, okay, to do business. So this is the explanation for commerce. Okay, so please don't get confused. This topic is a little bit vast. Business classifications of business activities can be divided into industry and commerce. So industry means converting raw materials into finished goods, isn't it? So there we study primary industry, secondary and tertiary, and under that again so many classifications are there. Okay, and the second part is commerce. So commerce can be divided into trade and auxiliaries to trade. Okay, so coming to again a new topic. Okay, so I want to take this history of commerce in India. How did commerce came into the role of commerce in India? Okay, so we all know that the form of commerce which we witness today was not the same in the beginning, isn't it? So it took a number of years for this commerce to achieve the present stage, okay, and it has passed so many stages. So let us see what are those stages. Okay, so the first one is the barter system. Okay, barter system. Now barter system means what? Exchange of things taking place, isn't it? Yes or no? So in the beginning, human wants were very few, and then whatever he produced, that was sufficient for him. Okay, but gradually human wants started increasing, and it was not possible for human to produce all the goods. That's why what happens is that he decided to go and take in exchange of something. He went and then he started exchanging goods in the among the family or village or people, isn't it? That's how barter system came into being. Okay, I will not go into detail because you already know the concept also. But the second one is the village economy. Okay, in the village level, now what happened? Gradually people got divided, and then they divided themselves into tribes, isn't it? Now people are working as one community, and then they divide the work among man and women, and they started working, isn't it? So these tribes were again further divided into small families. So some families, they got engaged in agriculture. Some families, they started their own business. How is that? They, whatever they have surplus of anything, they decided to sell or exchange with some people. Okay, so that's why buying and selling of things started in the village level too. Then comes the third one. Okay, the third one, that is the money invention stage. Okay, so there were many problems in this barter system, like because of absence of indefinite standard. Okay, so in order to remove that problem, universally accepted medium was discovered, that was money. So at the first stage of money, food grain was considered as a medium of exchange. That means what? Now money is one medium of exchange, isn't that? For example, if I want to buy something, I'll take money and then I go, isn't it? The shopkeeper will accept money, not the food grain. Okay, but long back, okay, food grain was considered as a medium of money, and so medium of exchange, and so food grain was the first considered as the medium of exchange. Okay, in terms of money. Then came gold, silver, or precious stones or metals. All those things came into being. And after that, the fourth one is the town economy. Okay, now various businessmen started business away from village. That means they went to the cities and all. Okay, and then they started doing business in the cities. So they were specialized in in a particular area, or maybe they started involving laborers and all. Okay, and here transportation started developing, transporting their goods from one place to another. It maybe they were using horses, isn't it, or donkeys. Okay, so all those were means of transportation. In this way, the expansions of trade started and competition began. Okay, in the town economy. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Okay, then came the Industrial Revolution stage. This stage of business completely changed the human life. With the development of engineering or iron making or steam machines, okay, all those, with the invention of all those things, many industries were established. Like, some popular industries are, includes textile industries, okay, sugar industries or chemical industries. So with the development of more industries, what happened is that railway and road transport made a very significant contribution towards the industrial development. So in India, the development of business received its momentum only after independence, okay. So that was the industrial revolution stage. Now coming to the last one, that is the communication. Communication and transport development stage. There has been an increase in national and international trade. Just we have discussed about this foreign trade, isn't that? Now, okay, so exchange of goods or buying and selling of goods has started, across broader, isn't that? So what happened is that, this IT, this information and technology, IT sector contributed a lot, okay, in the form of like, telephone, isn't that, fax, or maybe, internet, okay, e-commerce, okay, mobile phone, all those things added and contributed a lot to transport and communication, and also, rail transportation, airways, okay, and, through sea, isn't that? So transportations and communication development started, and then this is how, okay, commerce came into being, okay. So this commerce was there from the barter system, isn't that? It was there from when, when there was no money, when there was no medium of exchange, when they just exchange, exchange of some things were taking some among themselves, isn't it? Commerce was there from from long back until now, okay. The journey of this commerce has, made a tremendous impact in Indian's economy. Why? Because there has been a drastic, okay, structural changes in the field of commerce. So in the last 15 years, when we compare, okay, the business has evolved in so many areas. Now entrepreneurs, what the entrepreneurs are doing is that they are trying to explore some newer, okay, or better foreign markets for Indian goods. And also the government is also promoting and then giving importance to export promotions, okay. So this is how, commerce has been contributed a lot to the growth and development of the country's economy. So with this, I will just again explain to you a little bit about the topic that we have learned today. Commerce, okay, classifications of commerce, trade and auxiliaries to trade, okay. Trade means, again, can be divided into home trade and foreign trade, okay. And home trade can be again further divided into local, state and national level, whereas foreign trade can be again divided into import, export and entry port. Auxiliaries to trade means aid to business, which give support to business, okay, to do business without any problem, okay. So these are some of the activities which has been provided by the commerce. Now, history of commerce in India. The first was the barter system, the second was the village level economy, okay, and the third was the inventions of money. The fourth one is the town, town economy stage. The fourth is industrial revolution, and the fifth one is information and technology, okay. So with this, we have come to the end of today's topic. In our next class, we will learn about the indigenous banking system, okay. Thank you.